What we're going to do in this video is we're going to look at how to take the background really out of this and keep the guy. And to do that, we're going to use Photoshop's new tool, Select and Mask. So you have to be in any one of the selection tools, and up here there's a little button that'll appear called Select and Mask. Go ahead and click on that. Now when you first come up, the default is to have this transparency set to 100, and the view mode to this new one, which is onion skin, which actually is really great. But we need to bring this down in appearance. So basically what this is going to do is, this is showing you the red underneath. As I use this tool, which is the one we're going to use here, you can see as I drag over top, you can see that what I'm starting to select is coming more into screen. So I can simply just drag over top. And I'm going to drag over top. We're going to get some of those sunglasses over there. We're going to grab this over here. We're going to go around the arm. And you can see it's just picking up points that are there. So let's zoom in, show you a couple points that I've missed and a couple things that I actually grabbed. You can see this red is I actually want this. This is part of his sweatshirt. We got to make sure we grab that. Over here it actually grabbed the grass, but we don't want that. We want to cut all the way through. So if I hold the Option key down, I can actually minus out my selection. And we're going to come over here and we're going to minus out my selection over here. Now what you'll actually notice is it actually took a little bit too much here. We can get to that going into afterwards, going right into the mask. You could also just use the brush tool that's here and say, you know what, I want to add a little bit more of that back in, right? And we'll fine tune this after we do okay. Now there's a couple other things here. Most of the time you don't need to touch them, but I'll show you what they do. So you can see it, feather is going to feather this selection. So let's turn this all the way up, the transparency. So you can see it feathered it on the outside, so we're seeing part of that grass. When I turn this to nothing, you can see it's a nice clean selection. Shift edge will change, we'll use this later on. It'll actually shift the where that selection is. So if I want it to be a smaller selection, I can do this shift edge and it'll make it slightly smaller. You can see when I did it with plus, you can see it added this kind of black. That's actually the grass underneath. You can see that's subtracting it out a little bit. Decontaminate colors, again, we will use that in another tutorial. Basically it takes any of the colors that are surrounding it and makes it truer to your selection, which in this case we don't need to do. So I'm going to do okay. New layer with layer mask. I'm gonna do all right. And there's a couple things here we need to fix. I need to make sure we fix this. So Painted actually did a pretty good job doing that. Let's take a look at the mask a little bit. And just there's a couple places here that I'm going to fix. You may not have that. I'm going to go ahead and just color those white as a spot to fix them. And that's pretty good. Let's check over here. It's looking good. So what's great about this now is you have this mask that you can use. And if I wanted to, I could take another version of him, move him over. I could flip him around. Right, and now we just have a very clean. It didn't take a lot of time to actually do this, and that's using the new function inside of Photoshop, which is Select and Mask.